will be done by Joseph Miseli, President of the Airline Dispatchers Federation. Joseph, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. Good morning, everybody. Are we sick of PowerPoints? That's one question I want to ask because I'm going to show a video. Are you okay with that? So what I'd like you guys to do, kind of lighten up a little bit. Everybody needs to put their hands in the air and say Viva Rio. And I'm going to take a picture. So everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. Viva Rio! Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Technology put away. Very good. Well, my name's Joe Michelli. I'm with the Airline Dispatchers Federation, and I'm here to talk about operational control in the A and the U.S. perspective. And we'll just go ahead and get started.
It's got to be similar to an emergency room doctor. When those doors open up, you don't know who's coming in or what the problem's going to be.
You might have a flight crew member calling. He's got an emergency on board. His engine just shut down. Meanwhile, you have another flight calling with a medical emergency.
Each day, because of its challenges, weather, operations, equipment, crew, every day is quite different than the last.
The LCC is literally the nerve center for Delta Airlines. It's a place where 28 different departments come together and make tactical decisions on a day-to-day basis.
We basically have a representative from each operational group in the airline there, and we work together to come up with the best solution possible for our customers.
Flight dispatchers or flight superintendents are mandated under the FAA to share responsibility with the captain of every flight that is operated in the skies.
Most people don't realize that my profession even exists. When I first started dispatching, I would explain to my relatives and friends what I did, and they had no clue. People just think the pilot gets to the airplane and decides he's going to fly, and ATC tells him where to go. But on the backside of it, what we do in the OCC is all the pre-planning stuff.
We planned the flight prior to the captain even arriving at the aircraft. We're looking at the conditions of the airport that he's departing from.
We look at the load, passenger load, cargo load, mail load. We calculate how much fuel we want to put on the aircraft.
The route it will fly, as well as its potential problems it might have. In other words, any item that's inoperative on the aircraft.
We want to make sure that we have all of our safety checks in place, the flight routed around turbulence, and so we come up with what's called a flight release. And the ship's captain will take a look at that, review it, sign off on that, and we're both responsible for the safety of that flight.
There's a remark on the flight plan from dispatch that because of bad rides up high, we're going to stay down a little bit lower.
When the aircraft is en route, we follow along with the aircraft, making sure that they're at the right altitude, their fuel burns are proper, they're not off course. As the eyes and ears of the pilot, we're always, listening and observing, listening, observing, and communicating. When we need to.
I'm the guy on the ground with all the resources, like the conductor, the orchestra, pulling it all together to support them. And so I need to be anticipating what's going to happen next, what are they going to need, what can I do, and how can we avoid problems.
When someone I know is flying and they'll land and they'll say, oh, I had a great flight, not a bump on the whole route, and I'm at work and I'm looking at the weather map and I'm seeing what's happening, and I just think, oh, you're a good dispatcher.
We're looking at meteorological reports, we're looking at turbulence en route.
Solar, space weather can affect the flight. Ozone, high concentrations of ozone, we look for hazardous weather.
Our meteorologists have the ability to view any kind of volcanic eruption while it's happening and see where it's going to.
About 30,000 feet, you're looking at your route and comparing
Anything that can possibly affect the route of the flight, we are well equipped in the OCC to deal with any sort of issues from takeoff to land.
The flight superintendent position is a lot of responsibility. You are charged with the safety of each flight. Some unexpected things that you have to deal with in this job are things like emergencies en route, medical emergencies, or if there's a mechanical issue that comes up, political conflicts, then aerospace might shut down while we're en route.
Anything that can come along will come along at some point in time, and we just handle it as fast and quickly as we can, maintain professionalism.
I think the best employees in the OCC are those that communicate well with each other. You can work with a lot of distractions around you. On a busy weather day, it can get pretty noisy.
Okay guys, have a good flight. We'll talk to you en route.
You have to be one that can prioritize your workload. That's key. That's critical because you're going to have a lot of things to get done, but you are always, every day, determining what needs to be done right now.
I think the person that we have in the LCC, especially in the flight dispatch profession, is somebody that's very energetic, somebody that's creative, somebody that's innovative, somebody that's not afraid to make decisions. It has to be a person that is able to make good decisions rather quickly in both an individual and a team environment.
If you're looking for a challenge where you have to work hand in hand with people, this is a great job. And if you're interested in airline operations as well, this is an excellent job.
We work with just a tremendous group of individuals that are just so driven to outdo themselves every day. Every day brings challenges. There are very few calm days in that OCC. As soon as we think, oh, this is a good day, something happens that there isn't a playbook for. Something happens that might never have ever happened before, and we all have to come together with a plan to get through that. It's challenging, it's never dull.
If an individual is looking for daily challenges and the ability to think outside the box and solve problems on the fly, this is the kind of job that the individual will probably enjoy. Delta is definitely an innovator in terms of what we're doing looking forward. The tool sets we've got do a great job. They're always looking forward to see what kind of innovations we can get for the customer as well as to the employee and improve our job performance.
The people that work in the LCC are very highly fulfilled, they're highly motivated, they feel rewarded, they feel recognized, they feel valued.
The flight superintendent position is a highly sought after and competitive role at Delta.
Okay, this video is actually on YouTube, so I'm not going to get too much into it because of time constraints. But we want to thank our friends at Delta for allowing us to actually use this video to kind of outline what the aircraft dispatcher does. So the Airline Dispatchers Federation, what are we? As of actually yesterday, we actually have 2,050 members. We just gained another 100 members, so that slide's already old. Pretty much when you think about it, the Airline Dispatchers Federation is a professional organization, and we're there to represent the interests of the aircraft dispatcher in the U.S. And we would like to go abroad, as we talked about at ICAO. That's something that we're going to have to discuss down the road. We're advocating operational control between the pilot and the dispatcher, and we'll get into that in a slide. And we're all volunteers. I myself, I work for an airline, United Airlines, and you'll see a video from United. But I'm actually an aircraft dispatcher. I'm not management, nothing against management, but I'm just the average Joe. My name is Joe. So I'm a dispatcher. And I work the Hong Kong flights, so I'm pretty much dealing with the same things that you saw on the video. And we're all volunteer. We don't get paid one dime. They pay for my expenses to get here, but that's about it. So, what are we involved in? Pretty much in everything, the ADF. We're involved in industry and operational control between a pilot and a dispatcher. It's that simple. In the U.S., we deal with different groups, and some of them you can see on the slide there. Pretty much everyone and anyone that's involved with aviation, you can read, I'm not going to read it for you, but considering you're probably PowerPoint, so I'll let you read it. Licensed airman, joint responsibility, legally. I'm legally licensed and certified by the FAA as an aircraft dispatcher. I had to earn that. I had to train like a pilot to get that. And it's an agreement. It's a handshake between the pilot and the dispatcher when they sign that release for that particular flight. And it doesn't just stop there. Once we sign that release, it continues on. We're the one-stop shopping for the pilot. Aviate, navigate. Whenever there's an issue with a pilot, that's what they're thinking about, aviate, navigate. Well, don't worry about flying the airplane. Let me take care of the rest. I can handle the rest. You fly the airplane. some of the things that are facing us U.S. dispatchers today: weather, demands on a NAS, increased governmental regulations, volcanic disruptions, polar operations. We all know that we fly 2 engines over the pole. We have to watch weather, security, which we talked about earlier, which I found very interesting. The security with logons. I thought that was amazing because I never really thought about that. When I think security, I think checking into a flight at an airport. I never thought about the security for logging on to systems, because that's another way that could be a problem. So that's something that I wrote down a little note there. Economic cost control. Flight crews don't understand what dispatchers do. Sure, I'm here, you can see me. I'm pinch myself, I'm here. But when you talk with dispatchers, crews are using ACARS, sending messages. So really, it's hard to really understand what a dispatcher does. It's a cultural issue. So weather. Weather is one of our biggest and most challenging things that we deal with. It doesn't make a difference where in the world we're dispatching. It could be nice in the U.S., it could be bad in the Gulf of Mexico, you could have a sandstorm, and we know the real weather is not the best the past couple of days. It's supposed to look like that. But we deal with
group to determine what the right course of action is. Sometimes we'll coordinate with the FAA to put initiatives in place such that planes can't depart or arrive at certain locations, and we slow down the operation and simultaneously our entire information technology group stands up immediately a bridge line where we get visibility into the issue, how it's being worked, what the prognosis is, and how quickly it's going to be resolved. You know, I think it's constantly a challenge in an organization this big to make sure that the right people have the right information so that we make the right decision in a quick, timely manner. And it's this floor that really impacts the customer. How can we protect flights so that we get the most people from point A to point B? Because that's what we're here to do in the safest manner possible.
So with that, I want to say thank you for inviting me to speak about aircraft dispatchers. An old school dispatcher now faced with something we need to keep in mind, that we need to remember that there needs to be the human factor regardless of what program's built to ensure that we keep things safe. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.